Okay, morning everybody. Okay, stocks traded low in the US on very low volumes and volatility yesterday. We saw it in our markets as well. I mean, there's very little going on. Volumes are massively low. I think in the US, volumes were around 35% lower than normals, which is indicative of summer holidays in general. And Dallas Fed President Fisher said the FOMC is now close to tapering, but must avoid market havoc. And that may be the reason that the gold price is off this morning. Japanese stocks have retraced some earlier losses as investors squared up ahead of a two-day Bank of Japan monetary policy review this week. And there it is. Gold is trading lower for a second day this morning on a potential slowdown of bond purchases by the Fed. Also out of Asia, the Royal Bank of Australia cut rates by 25 basis points. I think it was as expected, but it did cause some Aussie dollar strength, and miners over there are down as a result. Okay, Nedbank came out this morning, diluted headline earnings per share at 8.31 versus 8.49. I think the regular HEPS number was at 8.51. We're using the diluted number purely because that was what we have the estimate as. So a slight miss on earnings. Dividends per share also a little bit light at 3.90 versus 4.05. The comments that they came out with were they expect interest rates to remain unchanged until the second half 2013, and loan advances to grow at mid to upper single digits. They also said that that they've had pressure on some of their emerging market businesses. While we on the bank earnings topic yesterday, HSBC also came out with results that were a bit of a miss, and I think it was because of their emerging market businesses. Okay, earnings coming out of the States later. We have Caremark, 21st Century Fox, and Walt Disney. Key factors today. We got the RBA cash target 2.5%, estimated 2.5%. Halifax house pricing, industrial production out of Italy, UK industrial production 10.30, and manufacturing production as well. Italian GDP quarter on quarter. At 12 o'clock we got factory orders out of Germany, and 2.30 US trade balance. So in general, nothing that's too market moving, I don't think. All right, let's have a look at a few charts. Okay, let's start with the Aussie. If I can get the chart up. Okay, so we've had this big break above the channel we were watching over here, and it pretty much hit its target sort of in a straight line from the breakout of this sideways consolidation pattern. I wouldn't be surprised for us to actually come down and test this level. We've had a very sharp move up on very low volume. That level comes in at around between 36,500 and 36,600. We can also put in a trend line, which would come in more or less the same level at about 36,500. So I think it's quite realistic that we'll test that level. I think we'd have to see at the time whether that's going to be a buying opportunity or whether that'll be a longer term pullback. I think watch this trend line coming up. I think if we get a breach of this upward trend line, that could mean a slightly bigger correction. But also, I mean, if we see a little bit of support on that line, it could also be a buying opportunity to send it to all-time highs. Let's have a look at spot gold. Okay, so gold has broken down from a bit of a flag over here in this downtrend. The line was around about 1320. I think it broke down, and for the last few days it's sort of been moving sideways to down. I wouldn't be surprised to see a retest of the lows, and at the moment it looks like it's going to be happening. Don't see any bounce in the short term. And while we're looking at that gold price, let's have a look at some gold stocks. We've got Gold Fields, similar sort of thing, have flagged and are breaking down. They didn't trade terribly yesterday. The gold shares in general actually traded quite well. I see they come off a little bit in the States. But let's watch how these gold shares trade now. I mean, if we don't get a sell-off or see new lows in the gold shares when the gold price is under pressure, this could indicate a bit of a bottom in the gold. So we'll watch, over the next sort of few weeks to see how they react to the gold price. Let's have a look at MTN quickly. MTN, the reason I'm showing this, I don't think this is a really high probability trading opportunity. It's reached new highs. We did show the breakout of this sort of inverse head and shoulders a little while ago, indicating a target of around 215. Not sure if it's going to get it on this try. Obviously, we've seen some massive volatility in MTN. Just after it broke out, it had a big pullback. There was a big seller in the market that was finally overcome a few days ago, and then we've had a straight line back to the all-time high from there. But keeping an eye on it, I still think pullbacks are viable in this one. I really like the longer-term setup. I mean, if we look at a 5-year chart, we're really in a good strong uptrend here with putting in a lot of consolidation here. I really do think we can pop if the market allows us to. But as I say, we had a 15 rand move up in the last couple of days, so we might be a little bit overextended, but look to be buying pullbacks in this one. Able, I mean, we all saw what happened in Able yesterday. They announced a rights issue, and we had some very surprising action out of it with the. We started off with a 10% pullback and then closed up almost, I think, around 7%, which is obviously massive turnaround. We think it's got to do with the rights issue and the fact that scrip lenders might have to take back scrip in order to participate in that. So we think that obviously it's massively shorted. There's no scrip available, so that could well be the reason we saw that big bounce. If we have a look at a 30-minute here, we can almost see a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders that it broke up above 15 rand and it's consolidated right above there. If we see some more buying this morning, I think we could easily get a push, back up to sort of $16 to where it was trading a few days ago. So keep an eye on this one. If we do see the same trade action as we did yesterday, then we could carry on this strength over the next couple of days. But obviously play small. It's been highly volatile, and I wouldn't hold positions for too long. Let's have a quick look at Nedbank. Nedbank yesterday was extremely strong. We are in a bit of an uptrend from this recent sell-off. We broke out a little while ago, and been making a bit of an untidy move up. The daily ranges are quite big and trades very thin. But we've broken out a bit of a recent sort of consolidation. So I'm not sure if we're going to continue today. It seems like we missed a little bit on the earnings, but keep an eye on it anyway. ShopRite. ShopRite's coming into a bit of a level here at once between like 163.50 and 164. I'd say if we drop this level, there's probably a good chance that we go and test the bottom of this range, which is more or less, if I draw on the closes, around 159, 160. It's obviously struggling. We had this big down move. It hasn't been able to have any kind of significant bounce. Especially if the market comes under pressure, I wouldn't be surprised to see it, trading around 159 in the short term. And then we'll have one quick look at the UK stock, HSBC. There we saw that earnings I was talking about earlier pulled back sharply. It's also forming a bit of a longer-term head and shoulders, which a lot of our local stocks are forming as well on our financials and industrials. So we're going to watch and see how that plays out. I think in general, guys, there haven't really been any good setups recently, and I think we need to be really patient when you're trading both intraday and CFDs to to wait for the best setups to occur. Otherwise, you just end up losing money. And that's all for today, guys. Good luck.